we must constantly keep in mind that long-term strategic investing is the best method to amass wealth. After all, if you don't figure out a means to earn money while you sleep, as Warren Buffett puts it, you will work till the day you pass away. Today, we will discuss a tactic that will do exactly that. Additionally, we will provide some instances from real life to help you see how you may apply this to your financial decisions. But before we get into that, I just want to say a quick hi and welcome you guys to Blue Collar Investing, personal finance and investing for the average Joe. Discover the path to success in the world of finance and learn how you're gonna make it even with your own 9-to-5 job. Make sure to subscribe and give us a thumbs up before we proceed to the video. Now let's get into today's video. You may be wondering what the OPM approach is after reading this video's title. This is referred to as the other people's money strategy and is covered in Robert Kiyosaki's book Rich Dad Poor Dad, which I wholeheartedly recommend to any beginner investor. If you haven't already, you should read it if you're interested in learning more about investing and accumulating wealth. So, how does this strategy work? Let's take a real-life example and imagine that you want to buy a car. The car itself is a liability, meaning that rather than generate your money over time, it takes money out of your own pocket. Owning one is a liability on your finances. A car won't generate you wealth because it is a liability. Now let's say the car is worth $100,000. It's a nice car, and you're a bit of an enthusiast. You like the finer things in life, so don't we all, right? So you've saved up for a long time, and you finally amassed the $100,000 you've been waiting for to buy your car. And here's what most people would do. They would bite the bullet and go out and buy that car outright. Your whole savings and wealth were put into a liability that is rapidly losing value. The instant you drive the car away from the dealership, its value drops by 30%. Congratulations, you immediately lost $30,000 due to your preference for fast movements. This does not sound at all like a good course of action, you could say. So who would intentionally do this? And you are 100% right, it isn't. But this is how most people behave. You absolutely cannot become wealthy by doing this. In fact, it materially worsens it. And most people are not motivated by money. Sadly, here is where the OPM strategy is useful. Do you remember the car you coveted? You can still have it, which will make you happy. But you'll need to do something before shelling out $100,000 for the vehicle. Invest your money in opportunities that can produce income. You can utilize bonds, shares of peer-to-peer lending organizations, real estate, or any other investment that will produce income for you over time. This is how someone else makes money for you even when you're asleep. I think of a Warren Buffett quotation. You are no longer exchanging your time for money, as you are probably already aware. It is additionally known as passive income. You can now pay your liability with the funds from your asset that generates income, the car in this situation. The money comes in and flows straight back out as an expense. You purchased a liability in the car, but you're not having to pay for it. It is your renter. The car will depreciate over time. You might hand it back or trade it in for an upgrade years down the line. But this whole time, you've not had to fork out of your own wallet to do any of this. Instead, you're using other people's money. The best part of this process is that if you ever decide you don't want the car anymore, or you maybe want something a bit more practical and perhaps less expensive than your V10 500 horsepower monster, you can reduce the cost of your liability. But your assets will still be generating you a steady stream of passive income, regardless of what car you have. Now you're even saving money. Look at how this scenario has transformed from instantly being $30,000 less wealthy. The second you drove out of that dealership with a car to now not having to pay for your liability, but still have an income after you no longer have use of it. Now you might think, what can you do with that money? I'm now making off my assets. Whatever you want, save for a rainy day, go on holiday, reinvest it to make more passive income, whatever you want. This is just an example of how you can use assets to buy liabilities. The principle itself is something you can adopt for many other buying purchases, but there is much more risk associated with this. The risk-reward payoff of what you invest in is dependent on your ability and willingness to take on risk. Not only is real estate a great investment in general, but tenants most often pay monthly. So if you're trying to finance a liability like a car on a monthly basis, you would ideally want to find a source of income that equals this payout frequency. You could still have an equity that pays biannually to fund this, but you would probably find the funds are sat in your bank account for a long period of time. Now, this is more of an advanced technique, and I would recommend this for a more experienced investor. But once again, a prime example of how you can do this is through real estate. Many people have built wealth by purchasing real estate without having to invest any of their own money. Now you might ask, how can you even do this? Well, instead of investing all the money themselves, they have a backer or investor source, the funds to buy the property. These investors allow the purchaser, or you, to handle all of the technicalities, managing the property, tenants, and anything related to the day-to-day operational management of the asset. In return, the investor will receive a return on the asset or have the loan paid off with interest. They are known as the limited partners, the backseat investor that is content on making a consistent return on their investment, while you, the general partner, puts in the hard work and effort of personally managing the asset to make sure it's well maintained and its returns are maximized. This is less passive as you have to put in the work to make sure the asset is generating a return. But you're still making money and building wealth through the OPM strategy. So there you have it. The OPM strategy involves buying liabilities through investing in assets using other people's money. And there you have it, folks! If you enjoyed learning about the world of finance through this video, please hit the subscribe button and leave us a comment down below. Don't forget to also give us a thumbs up so we know how we're doing. I hope you guys learned a lot, and I will see you on the next video.